ArcGIS online presentations. Presentations are useful when you want to display a map or certain map layers, but you do not want to incorporate any additional multimedia such as images or videos or external links or external text. Good presentations obviously start with a good map. Here we have a very basic map that covers the concept of geographic site. It has 7 layers. And it's always a good idea before you begin to make a new presentation that you make sure you're completely finished with your map and you save your map. Once your map is saved, just go up to the upper right and you can click on Create Presentation. So this is the presentation interface. You can see it actually works rather similar to Google Slides or PowerPoint. You can't add a whole lot of text. You basically only get to add a heading. So we'll begin by clicking on Add Slide. And this will be my title slide, so I'm just going to type in site. Or actually, let's type in geographic site. And so now that I have that, I want to see what extent of my map do I want. Do I want it to look like this? I actually think that's probably a pretty good view, so I'm going to hit Set to Current. And I want all of these layers on, so I'm going to continue those. And that's pinned my map to that extent. It is movable once you start the presentation. And I'm going to switch my base map to light gray canvas. I don't have any open pop-ups that I want to include in this, so I'm going to just leave that the way it is. Then I'm going to hit Save. You don't necessarily need to save after each layer. Or after each slide, excuse me, but it's always a good practice to do that. This is not like Google, any of the Google Office or Google Chrome Suite products that autosave. So if you want to add a second layer, just click on Add. So we're going to add a second slide, excuse me, and we're going to call this slide Confluence Sites. And because it's Confluence Sites, I don't want these other layers on, so I'm actually going to turn those off. You know, same basic premise. Slide down, I'm going to keep light gray canvas. And we're going to leave it just like that. I'm going to add a third slide, and now I'm going to talk about each individual Confluence site. So Pittsburgh is one of those. And I'm going to toggle off these because I just want the Confluence sites on. For some reason they're defaulting to being on. And I'm actually going to zoom into Pittsburgh. And if I can zoom into the actual Confluence site, if I look, you know, this map being light gray canvas, it's not the best, so I'm going to switch my base map on this one to topographic. Or right there. And I can actually see, you zoom in a little bit more, I can see the Confluence. And because I've zoomed in, I've changed the extent of my map. I want to click to Set to Current. And you can, if you want, leave that pop-up open so that it comes up automatically. You would just click here. I actually don't like to do that, so I'm going to close that out. We'll go ahead and save this. And just by hitting play, it opens up in a new window. This is the presentation window. And you can see there's my first slide, geographic site, all of my different site locations. Click to my Confluence sites. There's Pittsburgh, there's Khartoum. And you can see this map. You know, you can move this map. You can interact with this map. You can open up these pop-ups if you want. And then here's my third with a different base map, the topographic base map. I can open up the Pittsburgh slide if I want. I can zoom out to show, you know, Pittsburgh in relationship to Khartoum. You know, like I said earlier, slides are great, especially in front of a classroom when you just want to, you know, you have a series of maps, you know, talking about anything, you know, anything evolving throughout history or, you know, different specific traits of geography you want to show, but you don't necessarily need to embed any video. You don't want to add any additional pictures. You just want a simple, straightforward way to present your map. These are good for showing different layers of data, to kind of compare and contrast. So ArcGIS online presentations. They're not used that often, but they are useful to the classroom teacher.